I was at EIU at a job fair, and Teresa is the business director, and she was there handing out information. And we had a very lengthy conversation about what they were looking for in a candidate, and I seemed to fit all of those skills. Oh yeah, it helped me not only learn about the internship, but I learned what else I could do with my degree because there's a lot of different fields that an FCS major can go into. So I didn't know what was out there, and it kind of opened my eyes. At first, it was very a lot of questions about what do you know about social work, what do you know about psychology, and they wanted to make sure that you knew the difference between each field because we're family consumer science, and they only hire people that have a certain perspective. Working with substance abuse is a very difficult field. They treat it as a disease, and that there is no cure, but that they are always working towards recovery. And not only that, but once you finish your first interview, then you have to do a second one with the executive director of the whole facility, and she will ask you some very serious questions. I kind of, I looked up online different questions that they ask you in the human services field, and I just kind of would quiz myself and answer them out loud. And I'm pretty good with people, so I was pretty comfortable, being able to answer whatever they wanted to know. I learned better people skills because I had to call local facilities such as the police department, maybe the parole or the DCFS caseworker. I would have to ask them questions about a client's current status, if they had any warrants out for their arrest. I would have to type up a letter then and officially have it sent to them stating that that client had checked into rehab and they were there to get some help. And so then this would help them with their legal problems, and hopefully they could get like a continuance in court if it was coming up that week or so. But I learned how to talk to people who have higher expectations. They want things done a certain way, and you have to maintain professionalism in all aspects, especially with addicts, because they're gonna be needing things, they're gonna want things, and because everything's changing for them at that moment, they're gonna be upset, they're gonna have emotions, and they're not gonna know how to regulate that. I met people that worked with children and other agencies, and they were able to advocate for people, and I decided that I wanted to work in that field as well. And one of them was One Hope United. And so I started looking them up online. They had a website, and they showed several locations in my area that were hiring, and I ended up applying for a job through One Hope United, and I wouldn't have done that if I hadn't have talked to them on the phone and knew what they did. It taught me to be very organized and pay attention to detail. I did a lot of case coordination, which is kind of like anything a client needs taken care of in their life. You want to connect everything. Well, when I do crisis intervention for One Hope, I have to look at all aspects of the child's life, and I have to see, what's causing this crisis, how did they get to this point in their life, and then make suggestions for the parents to be able to get them help, get them into therapy. Sometimes they might need parenting classes too, and so I'm able to draw upon my experience working with so many different adults that had problems too, and brainstorm off that. I was able to be a leader. I had never led a group of people into a discussion, and I would take the clients into like our little lounge area. We would have maybe 6 to 8 people, and I'd have a binder, and we would discuss disease education, and it was all related to addiction. And it was really neat to watch the clients converse as we were talking. I didn't just read word for word from the binder, and as I did it every day, I got to the point where I knew what we were going to talk about already, so I was able to kind of lead in that discussion without looking down, and being able to make eye contact with them, which got them to get involved and talk about, hey, one time this happened to me, I can relate to that. And then an hour later, everybody's still talking because it keeps them interested. There's a lot of different fields that you can go into, so I would definitely research different companies. Make sure that you know ahead of time before you pick your internship what you want to do when you graduate. A lot of people say your skills will transfer no matter what, and it is possible, but you want to get somewhere where you might get your foot in the door that you could possibly lead into a career versus just a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.